Steve, let's get over to Phony finals for week 5. Where are you taking us for this week?
Let's go a three bagger here. Buffalo, Houston. Sure, it looked very close on the scoreboard, but Houston 150 extra yards,
Yeah.
1.6 yards per play better, and it was a blowout for a good part of that game. I still don't know how that game got so tight. So that one, upgrade Houston, downgrade Buffalo. Indianapolis, Jacksonville. I have no idea how this game wound up tied. It was like I turned it off. It was like a 14-point lead for Jacksonville, and then they're tied with 3 minutes to play, and Jacksonville just fell asleep, but they crushed Indy in the stats. And I'll tell you one game that didn't lie. This Cleveland, Washington. I'm going to say it. It's time to throw Watson. It's time to relegate him, not to the CFL. It's time for that dude to learn how to play golf or tennis because football is not his sport. It's time to put Jameis Winston in. I don't care how many millions that you're paying him. The dude is not getting it done.
And that makes me feel really good that you say that because on the prop show that we do here on the RJ Bell Dream Preview, I give out the under on passing yards for Deshaun Watson. So hopefully that comes into fruition sooner rather than later for Cleveland Browns at the quarterback position. I want to ask you what I felt like the Dallas Cowboys and the Pittsburgh Steelers game on Sunday Night Football also felt like a phony final to me because there were two turnovers in the red zone there that, or one for sure that two that Dak Prescott had. One was the interception that he threw, and then the fumble that he had there as well. And then the long pass that he had that got intercepted late in the game there as well. I mean, if you looked at the numbers, like you mentioned there, I think this one was another one that kind of caught my eye here, Fez, as far as a phony final score goes.
Yeah, you're spot on. And you know, the narrative is, oh, it was a coin flip Plinko situation, 4th and goal from the 5, where Dallas probably only scores, around 38% on that final play. But before that, when they have 1st and goal on the 1, they punch it in with 90%. And it was a miracle that a bad confluence of events had to occur for Dallas just to be up against it. And even when they almost blew it at the end, it was almost a situation where the Pittsburgh player made a play that looked like Jefferson in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, where he was flying like
Yeah.
a missile forward. That never ever works when a dude commits early like that, and the running back just jumped right into him and fumbled. So the narrative is Dallas a little fortunate. The truth is Dallas should have won by double digits.
Yeah, I felt
Yes.
like a little Troy Polamalu esque there with that forced fumble. Fortunately, that they were able to recover there were the Dallas Cowboys. Yeah, Cowboys 5.9 yards per play in that game, Fez, to only 4.0 for the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that one did feel like the one that jumped out to be the most as far as phony finals scores go. Anything else for phony finals that caught your eye over the weekend?
Um, that was actually it. As
Okay.
far as well, obviously the Giants getting a phony 7 points at the very end of the game to win 29-20. Certainly qualified on the at the very end of the game. But that a lot of the finals were somewhat representative of what occurred on the field. I felt this week. Maybe I wanted to ask him off
Yeah.
this Carolina team.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they just stink again. Maybe they were all injured and we got excited because they got the dead cat bounce with the red rifle coming in for 1 week. But do they have the worst defense in the league? And if so, they're going to win 4 games, right? At most.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit telling as well how bad the Raiders team is as well, because the Panthers, I know, it was a, get up situation with Andy Dalton taking over as a starting quarterback, and the offense obviously in that spot against the Raiders was going to look good because how bad Bryce Young looked and not really competent on the offensive side of things. And Andy Dalton, I mean, since then, like you mentioned, they haven't won a game. The defense looks terrible. They gave up 36 points to the Chicago Bears. Caleb Williams finally in that game looked like a number 1 overall pick in that game against the Panthers. But I mean, since then, they gave up 34 to the Bengals. They gave up 36 here to the Chicago Bears. So maybe we continue fading this defense and maybe look at opposing teams' team totals to go over, because they do have the Falcons in week 6, and then they have the Washington Commanders thereafter for the Carolina Panthers defense. And again, they have lost 2 key guys on the defensive side, right? They lost Shaq Thompson last week, and they also like Derek Brown on their defensive line there as well. So 2 key injuries there for the Carolina Panthers that they've lost for the season. that's just only going to make that defense worse.